shooter situation. Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt has the latest on that from California. Jonathan.
Hey, Will, we first got word of this active shooter situation just about 1 hour ago. It was unfolding at the Islamic Center of San Diego. That is a very large mosque in San Diego, the largest, in fact, in San Diego County. And as you take a look at live aerial pictures of that scene, we can tell you that there is also a school on that property. It is the Bright Horizon Academy. As we understand it, it caters to pre-K to third grade students. And some of the pictures we've seen, and in fact you were just showing at the top there, were of some of the young children attending that school being led away single file. Obviously a terrifying situation for those children, their teachers, and their parents. The mosque, thankfully, would not have been as busy as it might have been, for instance, on a Friday, the Islamic Day of Prayer, of course. But obviously it is a very big mosque, a lot of staff, and you're looking again there now at those children who were being led away a short time ago. As you can see, armed police officers among those escorting those children off the scene. We do not have confirmation of any victims at this point. Will, I can tell you I've seen some graphic video which would indicate at least one victim. Whether that was an innocent bystander or the shooter himself, we do not know. Police in the meantime have said that the scene is, in their words, active but contained. We do not believe that that means the shooter is still active, given the posture that we are looking of the police officers on scene now. They are markedly calmer than they were 30 minutes or so ago. So we believe the actual active shooting part of this situation is ended as of now, but the investigation clearly just beginning. And again, we are waiting official confirmation on the number of victims and the condition of victims. We'll bring that to you as soon as we get it.
Okay, Jonathan Hunt, thank you for that breaking news. I've seen some of that same video, graphic video, at the entrance of the Islamic Center of California in San Diego. It does suggest there has been at least one casualty. Whether or not it is the shooter or a victim remains to be seen. To help answer a few more questions about this, let's bring in Fox News contributor and retired FBI supervisory agent James Gagliano and former acting ICE director Jonathan Fahey. James, I'd love to start with you just as a point of clarification, so we know where we are in this exact moment. You heard Jonathan Hunt say it's being characterized as active but contained. Can you help me understand that phrase, active but contained?
Yeah, so I think Jonathan nailed it, Will. And what he basically stated was the fact that the shooter does not appear to be an active threat right now. Active but contained means they're still searching. This is still a live event right now. Now, as we're looking up on the screen, I'm looking at this and trying to read the tea leaves here as a former SWAT team member and a member of the FBI's hostage rescue team. This tells me that this is not exigent. We are now in the clear phase before we bring in consequence management. And look, Will, way too early now to talk about motivations or things like that. But the bottom line and what law enforcement is looking to do, go to the threat, neutralize or interdict the threat, and then we calm down and make sure everybody's okay and work on the evidence recovery and what we're going to do for prosecution going forward.
Understood. Jonathan Fahey's with us as well. Jonathan, when you see these images and you see the amount of news that we have been able to gather so far, as James pointed out, it's a little too early to speculate, certainly when it comes to motivation, but what jumps out to you? What's your reaction to what we know so far?
Yeah, as far as, I agree with what James said. First of all, that it looks like the shooter, my guess is, has been neutralized, meaning probably has been killed because he has not been arrested and removed. So that would be a good thing. It also doesn't seem to think they think anyone else is involved, at least at this time. But of course, the things that jump out as motivations, you're looking at, hate crime, terrorism. You have to look at what's going on in Iran. Does this somehow, trigger this or somehow related? You also have to just take a step back, and sometimes these things happen for no political reason or religious reason at all, but there could be some sort of domestic thing. But of course, I think the first thing they're going to be looking at is that terrorism. Is there somebody else involved? Is this part of a group or just an individual? And I think at least at this point, based on what we're seeing, is they don't think there's more involved or more to come, at least with respect to this. But I think they'll find out a lot more. Like all of these things, what do you do first? Look in the guy's phone and see what's in there.
Jonathan, you make a great point. The potential motivations could be 1,000-fold. I did, though, latch on, James, I'm going to direct this question to you, to something I heard in the last hour with Martha McCallum by Paul Morrow. He gave us this fact. The details are interesting, so we'll just acknowledge the facts, and you can tell me where you think the significance lies. This was a Sunni Muslim mosque in San Diego, the largest in the county. Now, when there is terrorism globally, it is often, of course, Judaism, Islam, anti-Semitism, something like that. But when it is not, it is intersectarian Muslim, Sunni, Shia. Jonathan brought up Iran. Iran is a Shia nation. Here we have a Sunni mosque. I don't know, James, off the top of my head, and this is where I turn to you now, do we have a history of that sectarian terrorism or violence here in the United States? We certainly would all across the globe, certainly in the Middle East. Do we have that kind of sectarian conflict here in the United States?
We don't, Will, but however, there's a new paradigm right now with terrorism, and you correctly point this out, and Paul Morrow talked about it in the last hour. Iran is 95% Shia. This was a Sunni mosque, and I think it's the largest mosque, the largest Islamic center in San Diego. Very reminiscent of what happened to the synagogue, a couple of months ago in West Bloomfield, Michigan. So these type of attacks are becoming a lot more common, and we do need to pump the brakes and pause here and say, what also could be the motivation? Right. Motivations could be, it could be domestic violence. It could be a love triangle. It could be a whole host of things. But the fact that it was targeted at a mosque where you have pre-K to third graders, it's chilling.
And I'll reiterate, I think all three of us have done so. We do not yet know this motivation. That's simply a factual background that I found interesting, and you put it into a larger context of what you see across the globe. Jonathan, to a conversation that you and I have had in the past, and I don't think is completely out of bounds already when it comes to this potential news item. We have today the arrest of a man in New York who was plotting terror attacks against Jewish synagogues and Jewish Americans in L.A., in New York, and across the country, and in fact across the globe. The first question that popped to my mind when that story was, Jonathan, was what is he doing in the United States? What is his citizenship status? Is he a permanent resident?
Yeah.
Is he an illegal alien? And now we're going to see this story, and that will be one of the first things I want to know. I want to know, is this an American? Is it a radicalized American? It could be a domestic issue, to your point. Is it a naturalized citizen? I will want to know about the immigration status.
Yeah, that's such a good point, and we've talked about it before because you have the legal and illegal immigration, which is always the dividing line, but so much of our legal immigration has been done in a way that's really not taken the interests of the American public and their safety over the last probably 20 or 30 years, and it's really shameful. And remember, Jim Jordan's committee in 2024 found that the Biden administration let in 99 people that were on the terrorist watch list that they caught and let in the country, and that's not to mention all the gotaways. So this is always a question that's worthy of going back to, and once we find out who it is, that may be a question we ask, as well as is it a Sunni Shia rift, or is there something else? But this is certainly something that's always in the backdrop these days.
Yeah. All right, we'll find out. Again, a lot of these questions will be subsequent to, dependent upon finding out the motivation here when it comes to this shooting. James, when you see this very quickly, we are getting word that the threat at the Islamic Center has been neutralized. Okay, neutralized. A moment ago, we heard active but contained. I hear neutralized, James, and I can speak from the world of assumption. You speak from the world of fact. That sounds like the shooter has been taken down.
Yeah, we've moved from crisis resolution to consequence management. Are there any IEDs present? Any kind of hazmat situations that we need to be concerned about? And then, Will, it's about preserving the crime scene, making sure that we can collect evidence. And most importantly, Will, whatever the motivations are here, is there a conspiracy and is there anybody else that needs to be taken down outside of where this location was?
Yeah. All right. James Gagliano, Jonathan Fahey, thank you both for being with us here as this news breaks. We'll continue to get information and move, I hope, importantly, to many of the questions we began to wonder about here quickly. The important note at this moment is it does look like, and there's a lot of information that still needs to come in, those school children we saw being evacuated have arrived at safety. The threat at this point has been neutralized. Thank you both, Jonathan, James.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.